Today's lesson is all about Charlie Christian and his approach to playing over major chords. I previously covered in video lessons how he played over dominants and minor chords, so if you missed those, I'll put a link in the description, check those out. But today I thought we'd just take a look at a few basic ways in which he liked to approach playing over major chords. Well, just some of the ways he did. We're going to use the key of A flat for this. Reason why? Because a good song to practice this is one that he did with Benny Goodman and Lionel Hampton, 7come11, that one. Now, the whole A section of this, it's an AABA form standard, the whole A section just uses A flat major, so it's just over that riff and over one A flat major chord, so it's a great place to kind of explore what you can do on a major chord. Now I'm just going to restrict it to one sort of area on the guitar just to show you some of the ideas that he liked to employ, and we're going to use this shape as our kind of parent shape, if you like, and watch we're going to pin a few other ideas. So this is an A flat major triad with another A flat on the top, so it's root, third, fifth, root, so that's A flat, C, E flat, A flat, root, major third, perfect fifth, root. And some of his ideas are quite simple to get into your playing and really effective, so it's quite a quick way to get some ideas you can use straight away. So that triad is our main shape that when we're playing over the of 7come11 or just the A flat chord chopping away for 16 bars, we can add in a few other things to that. I mean, that triad, those are the really important notes. I mean, I think his solo on that song starts with just the A flat going like something like that, and it is just kind of like the shape just there. Now, quite often when you sort of listen or transcribe his solos, you realise he often stays in one area quite a bit, and in over 7come11 he spends a lot of time in this area with this that sort of shape I just showed you. Now, what he does to add interest to it is the triad is like the overriding thing, which, those notes are important to finish on or maybe even start on, but he adds in some other notes, other intervals for interest. So we have this A flat, C and E flat, and then the other A flat on the top, but then he'll also bring in things like the 6, so which is an F, which we can find twice in that place. So there, so root, third, fifth, 6. We can also get it here beneath the root, so and the 6 has quite a nice sort of sweet sound. So that's one note he liked to add in, and you can move that around. That's for C. Chromatically fill from the root down to the 6. That's quite cool. So A flat, G, G flat, F. I like this kind of thing, where you go root, third, 6, and bypass the 5th, then maybe down to the 5th. The 7th also, which I just added in then, is another one he'd like to add in. And funnily enough, obviously it's playing over a major chord really here. The riff in 7come11, like that, really is just like, it's not a 7th or anything, it's just A flat really. So he would often play over one chord, a major chord, and add in the flat 7 just for interest. So like that. We can get it there. Adding in the 9th there as well. Here we go. What if we go up the triad? So we're going root, third, 5th, 6th, 7th. It's quite nice. And we've got the 6th, we've got the 7th, we can add in the flat 3 as well, so the minor third, as an approach note to the third. The melody of 7come11 is going flat 3, 3, going between those to the 5th, going between those 2 notes and up to the 6th. So, the melody on that song relies upon it a lot. So we've got this flat 3 to third, the thing you get from blues guitar really, and he played with T-Bone Walker a lot apparently. They used to busk on the streets apparently at one point, so maybe a lot of the blues rubbed off on him there, but it's a very typical bluesy idea, go between the flat 3 and the major third, because you resolve it by going to the major third, it's okay. And we've got the flat 3 twice. we've also got it there, B on the top. So here you go, B up to a C, so I'm getting the C an octave higher. That kind of thing, flat 3, 3, 5, 6, root. So, whilst this triad shape is, you know, the overriding thing, adding in the 6th, adding in the 7th, adding in the flat 3. And the interesting thing for me here is his use of, you know, what over a major chord can sound quite dissonant, you know, obviously a minor third and a flat 7. You know, you wouldn't normally use the flat 7 over a major chord, really. You'd go for the major 7. And they work because he always closes it off by going to a note from the triad, you know, so he doesn't hang on the 7th or the 3rd for too long. He will resolve that tension by going to a note from the triad. Now, what that does is it sets up tension and release, like this. Like, say if I did that note there obviously sounds a bit bluesy. This is the flat 3, but if I resolve it up a semitone to the 3rd, everything's back to normal. Like that. Flat 7 to 6. So it's you know, you can use these notes which you wouldn't necessarily traditionally pick over a major chord, but it's how you resolve any tension that you want to create. I think the best thing to do really is to illustrate it with some of his ideas in the actual solo. There you go, there's one, over an A flat. Slide into the 3rd, 5th, 6th, and then like a nice punchy da-da on the root. That's really cool. And then another phrase in it. Over an A flat chord, or an A flat 6. What's the interesting note here is that one. So this is all, you know, 5th root, 9th, flat 7, but he resolves it down to the 5th. Well, that sounds really bluesy bringing in that flat 7, but like I said, you know, as long as he resolves to one of the notes within the chord, it will sound fine. And you know, one thing he'd like to do, whether he's playing over a major, minor or dominant chord, finish off his phrases convincingly, which he does before the start of the B section in this. So what we've got going on there, we've got flat 3, 9, root, 6, 5. So that's the note which sounds out, you know, out of place. But because it's, you know, he slides off it, tension quickly goes away. So we got the flat 3, 9, going down to the 5th, flat 3, 9, root, 6, 5, then this enclosure, which is 4, flat 3, 3, 5th. Finishing with that strong swept triad, finishing on the root. So how strong does that sound? You know, it's very convincing because it finishes on a strong note, but it's also the added interest of the 6th and the 7th and the minor 3rd, sorry, and the 9th as well in that instance, make it really interesting and give it much more interest. If I just said play over a major chord with just a triad, you know, you can do it, but you need other colours to make it interesting and make it sound more musical. So what can you do with this? You can take a simple triad shape like that, move that around, you know, move it down a fret, it becomes G, move it up here, it becomes C, and so forth. And what doesn't change is, you know, the fact that wherever you put it, it's going to be root, 3rd, 5th, and root, you know, again on the top, another octave. And then in the same way, adding the note there, it's adding in the 5th, so adding in the 6th, add it there, it's still the same as, you're going to be able to find the same ideas, same sounds. Be able to find those same ideas, and if you really just sort of get used to the sound of them, you know what it sounds like to go and be able to hear it, then you'll be able to transfer that to other chords. And you know, you've got a long spell on a major chord, dig out some of those Charlie ideas, you know. So as I said, if you miss my videos on the dominant and the, if you miss my videos on Charlie Christian's approach to playing over dominants and minor chords, then you can check that out. I'll put them on the screen for you. And just to say, if you're new here, please consider subscribing for jazz guitar lessons every Wednesday and Saturday. Hit that notification bell to be informed of my next video. Until next time, see you again.